friends all know that I'm cool. I've been this way since high school. Cause life's never been sweeter when you're just a cake eater. When it comes to hockey, nobody can stop me. My high school team, I was playing on the top 3.
Welcome to the Youth Hockey Up High School Hockey Podcast, final show, brought to you by Mayo Clinic Sports Medicine. Final show for a reason, because my voice is gone. Tony?
Final show because it's over. It's finally over.
Well, not for you.
No, it's not. Youth status next weekend.
And Carl, you're in studio with us.
I am. Again, once more in body than in anything mentally, but I'm here.
You're going to do just fine, Carl.
It's a draining week.
Your half a brain is better than both of ours put together.
You're going to say Danny originally there.
Yeah, I was. But
We're being
We're
very
not
kind
taking
today.
shots at players.
You're not a player.
No. Take all the shots we want at Danny.
Okay, well, let's get started. Let's talk about some sights and sounds that we saw. I mean, why don't I start off? I want to give a thanks.
Why don't you get to go first?
Okay, fine.
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Fine. But I want to give a thanks to all the people that we saw, that came down to section row 108, row 22. Tim, Ahow, Josh Mack, who loves the show from War Road. Who else? Zach Helverson came down bringing us cookies. So did Peter Odney.
I brought you a cookie.
And
Tony brought
cookies
cookies.
too.
Yeah.
Got our
What
cookies.
about the guy from Anoka? Come
Oh,
on.
Yeah.
That guy, I don't know who
he's
that
great.
guy
Thanks,
is, but he
Mr.
was
O'Neill.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was fun.
He
Got
made
a great
my
dig at you.
tournament.
Yeah.
Okay, because he trolled you so hard on this the
best.
return to snub you on the how about Centennial.
He goes, oh, by the way, you picked Centennial 2 years in a row. I was like, I did? He goes, yeah. I'm like, oh, dang it. That was a good one.
That was a good one. Well, what else? Tony?
What
What
else?
were some of yours?
Oh, mine? I got 3 of them.
Well, I got more.
I'm going to go in my order. I like
Okay.
to keep
Okay.
my
Tony
peas
must be
separate from my
orderly.
potatoes here, okay?
Scripted Tony. Okay,
All
let's
right.
go.
Mammal Crowd.
Oh,
They were
yeah.
great.
They were awesome.
Moose.
I fell in love with them the first
Moose.
day.
Yeah.
Moose.
And the love affair. I wasn't sure if I fell in love more with the team or the crowd, but by Saturday, it was the
both.
team. It was
Yeah.
for sure the team, and that crowd was amazing.
Yeah. Our seats were. It ended up being in the mammal section because it was so huge, and it
There was
just wrapped
10,000
around,
there.
and
There
we.
was the entire
yeah. And,
place was a mammal section.
Yep.
It was easily 70-30.
yeah.
I think there were Hermantown fans secretly cheering for me. Seriously, if you weren't cheering for them, then you're not human. You have no soul.
My voice is gone because of
It
Moose.
was great.
Moose.
Great. We'll get to the Class A
Yeah,
tourney
yeah.
a little bit more in detail later. The other thing was great for having an all-North final. I mean, it's been 10
Love it.
years
Yeah.
since we had a North champion. I mean, this was great. It was great. It always takes doesn't it seem like it takes an all-North final to get a North champion?
Ouch.
Okay.
Ouch.
Oh.
Sorry.
I'll say, just Duluth East won a final over Anoka
I know.
in my lifetime.
You're right.
It's going to be a long time ago, but in my
I've
lifetime.
seen it in my lifetime too, but my lifetime's a little longer. Okay, and then I got a couple that I call these all-tourney snubs. I'm not going to talk about players who made the tournament, all-tournament
Because
team and
every-
deserved it.
yeah.
because we don't do that on this show, but there were a few, and there was a few that didn't make it, which were just head scratchers. If you were watching the hockey games and you watched Tyler Watkins,
He
doesn't
was-
make the team.
he was
a head
the-
scratcher.
And he's one of
Okay.
the best players that was on their team all year. He's the
Yeah.
heart of their team.
Yeah, it's not like this was a surprise.
Yeah, like Reagan Gardner. Like, who's this guy? You know?
Yeah.
But he was just dominant. He was
Reagan Garden was
force.
all over the place, just hair flowing all over the place.
Yeah, but let's just take. If he had a skinhead, he was still a great
Yeah.
hockey player.
Yeah,
Just,
Van Zandt.
We talked about it before the game, before the show. Is like, what do you think he'd rather have? Do you rather be all tournament team, or be the number one guy in all hockey here? And I'm saying all hockey here is more important than an all tournament team at this point.
That's a much better story.
Did you get a trophy for that though?
No, they get a hat. They get
Oh,
the
okay.
hat. The
Okay.
hat in the
cones,
hat
right?
in the thing. They get the hat, the flow tree hat.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
There's
And-
only-
and a free haircut.
And the free haircut. They're gonna get we give out like 20 of those hats.
Oh,
All
okay.
those guys get
Yeah,
those hats.
yeah.
And then last but not least, Jack Jensen, who I thought I tweeted that I thought he was the best guy in the ice
Yeah.
in that Rapids game, the Rapids EQ
Yeah,
game.
and he was really, really good in the Wayzata game too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just great. Again, I didn't see much of the third place game. I was accounting for what happened in that crazy
Yeah.
Class
Yeah.
A
Yep,
game.
yep.
You know, writing that story and getting in the press conference and all that stuff, it just takes a ton of time. So I didn't
Yeah.
get a chance to see the third place game. I saw a lot of it last year, but this year, that was the oddest, wackiest thing I'd seen in
Yeah.
my career.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, Carl, any of your sights and sounds?
A couple I have. First off, since we were in the stands this year, I just got to have some fun with things. So I was just carrying around my little potato, which got a lot of shout outs all weekend.
Was it a real live potato?
That's an actual potato. Yes,
Okay,
and
it was
I had a
small,
potato.
that's why I was
Yes,
wondering.
yeah, it wasn't a large
I
potato.
can get you one. I can get you the Spuds don't have, in Moorhead, they don't have a Chuck-a-Puck.
They
have a
chuck a spud?
Spud. It's a little
Oh, I want one of
foam-
those.
I'll get you one.
Excellent. Yeah, no.
Well, I'll be up there next season. I can tell you that
Yeah.
much.
I have a little love affair with the potatoes, so I'm glad I got to enjoy that. But at the same time, it was also great to be part of the Grand Rapids experience when they finished it off last night because Danny and I were very close to the Rapids band right in that section, and
Yeah, the fake Thunderhawk took video of me jumping with them in OLA pregame.
yeah,
So.
he was creeping on you hard.
You're now famous.
And also, I should mention that on during the semifinals, we had Tim Howe, who we had on the show last year, come down and he sat with us for the last period of that game, and
Which was cool,
It was
too.
really fun watching a Rapids fan go crazy and lose it totally.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Finish it off. Yeah.
Let's also getting Tony up to the 200 level.
That was the highlight of the tournament.
That was so great.
That was what?
A highlight of the tournament.
I'm still cleaning myself.
Yeah, I have to say,
It's gross.
in the span of about 12 hours, I felt the youngest and the oldest I ever had. Because first off, when we went to buy tickets for Class A on Friday for the semifinals, I walk up to the window and say, "One adult, please." And the woman says, "Okay, one student," and she just gives me a student ticket. I could still pass for a high school student.
He's saved
Yeah.
So
six.
young then.
Yeah,
right?
so,
when
but
did
then
you feel
about
old?
12 hours later, when we go up to the 200 level, the
Oh,
elevator
yeah.
doors open, and I'm just like, "Oh my
Oh
god,
my
I'm
God.
10 years
with the-
years older than everyone here."
With the kid carrying the sign,
Yeah,
party at
there's
Josh's
this
house.
parade going by of people with a sign saying "party at this kid's house," and then with his Snapchat on it.
That's funny.
There are just these
That's funny.
hordes of roving barbarians up there. I don't think they all had seats because it's so crowded. They
No,
were just,
like my
yeah.
daughter got a standing room only seat,
Yeah.
and there were thousands of open seats up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the people who have seats are out in the party.
Yeah.
People in the party who want to sit aren't allowed to go in by the ushers. Yep.
And 207 is going nuts.
It's insane. And I'm glad I only spent about 4 minutes up there. It was
It was fun.
for
It was-
4 minutes. It
Yeah.
was perfect.
Yeah.
You have to
After
get
that.
just a taste of it every year.
Yes,
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah.
You
have
do.
to
It's
get a
part of the
taste.
tournament. It's
Yeah.
part
It's pretty
of.
cool.
Yeah.
It really is pretty cool. My
It's
daughter.
a magical thing.
I gave my daughter a ride home. She goes, "Dad, I want to go back tomorrow night." to the
It's not the
championship."
same. It's not the
I
same
go,
in the
"It's just
champions.
Not Friday night is. It's
That's
a
the
big
night.
part of
Yeah,
it. It's great. It's great.
It's like
for the
opening
state.
day of the state fair. It's just everybody's there. Or like the nicest day at the fair.
Yeah.
everybody's there, and
Well,
that's
it's
what
funny
makes
you
it
should
cool.
say that. I was doing an assignment for State of Hockey, and I'd ask people, "What's your favorite part about the tournament?" So I asked Lauren Nelson. 'Cause I think he's a big part of our culture.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
kind of
Great.
written about it, and that was his analogy. He goes, "It reminds me of the state fair," and he went on and on about it.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right.
Wait, one thing.
All
Here's
right.
an anomaly of the tournament. Carl has never been to the expo.
Never.
I've been
somehow I
once.
have never been to the expo.
This
Yeah.
was the first year I didn't go. I normally go.
I've only been once. I usually don't have time to
Another
go.
year after year. Yeah, I was running
I'm
around doing a bunch
busy
of other
and
things.
whatever.
and-
I think my son
Need to get food,
again. It's
yeah.
always my son needing money, and he went to the expo. I'm at the expo, Dad. And I had to run down and give him money at the expo. It's the only time I've ever been. So, all right, ready to go?
Yeah, let's
Class
talk
A?
about games.
I think we're going to spend more time on Class A in our discussion than W.
Well, about
I
the
just
actual game.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Oh,
the
that
game
was-
was good. All the games are good. How about Hermantown? 3 times they had to go to overtime to win.
Which is crazy. I think I would have not have bet money on the. If you said, Danny, here's 100-1 odds. I wouldn't have bet that dollar
No,
for you.
I don't
No.
think I would have either.
No.
I don't think I would have.
I had a tweet that may have sounded a little salty, but I said, this was at the same time both the most dramatic and also kind of the most underwhelming state tournament championship run ever. Because, they should have beaten all these teams in running time.
Could
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
Could have.
This should have
I
been.
don't know about Cathedral. They were playing some
Cathedral
good
was good.
hockey.
Okay, Cathedral was
on
good.
a higher level than
Yeah.
the
Playing
other ones.
really good hockey.
And
In the
I
sections and-
I like the way they played in season when I saw them, and I was like, they just need to find a way to finish, and they were finishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they played really good.
Except against Hermantown, they didn't.
Well, okay.
You should finish the game or finishing goals like scoring.
Finishing the game.
Yeah, they
Okay,
did not
yeah.
finish against.
Yeah, but they hung with the best team in the state. Through,
Yes, they did.
You know, and again, Class A beat the Class 2A.
I think I tweeted
Sure.
that 73 times. No, maybe
Along
once
with
it fell again.
218, 73.
Yeah, the 218 a million times too. So
Okay,
it's good.
let's get back to the game. So
All right.
this championship game was outstandingly fun. This was awesome. Since I've been a fan and not a student, I've never been to a game and had so much fun at the tournament.
That was a good game. You know, it's funny.
Totally agree.
The Friday afternoon session had 3,000 more people. 12,000 people at the Friday afternoon session.
Yeah.
And 9,000. But both got treated to an amazing. set
Oh,
of
yeah.
games. I mean, it was so cool to watch.
Well, the best part of the tournament was when Mammal went up 2-0, and the crowd was going nuts. Like, I'm just yelling Moose, and my hands are hurting from doing clap. Moose. And it was just awesome.
And you wonder why you don't have press credentials.
Well, that's what Cole Minen said. Tim Cole Minen says, like,
Wonder why.
he's like, well, I suppose you can do that this year. And I said,
Yep.
yes.
Yes,
And it was all fine. I mean, I probably would have done a mini Moose up in the box. You know that.
Yeah, you probably would have.
Yeah, Pete Wagner would have yelled at you on the radio. But yeah.
All right, what is the? Let's talk a little AA action.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought the best game in the tournament was the,
The
Eden
semifinal.
Prairie.
Yep.
That was probably the
Rapids
de
game.
facto
Yeah.
state
I
championship
had a
game.
feeling when
Uh,
Rapids won that game that,
they were going to win.
as much as I like that Moorhead team,
I just
Yeah.
here's a word that I describe both teams, and obviously only one can win. I thought both teams, Eden Prairie and Grand Rapids, were possessed. I mean, they just were like
Yeah.
they were on like
Yeah.
a dog on a bone.
Yeah.
For the last 3 weeks of the season, they were really good, and
Yeah.
one of them had to lose that game.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, and it was a flip of a coin, and I mean, it was a turnover that caused the game, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
And I don't know. Just takeaways on that game was just so much. The cool part about that game is everybody stuck around for it.
oh yeah.
Rarely do you see a filled house all the way to the end in a nightcap for the Friday.
Yeah.
It's really rare, and so that was really cool. It was just like so many things, so many good storylines with that. Stampahart played amazing.
yes,
Yeah,
he was
well,
on Casey all night.
I think one of the storylines is that, and again, us pundits, let's
Yeah.
classify us that loosely.
Yeah.
Have been talking about that they're a one-line team, they're a one-line team. None of them.
Graber, Connor Steffen.
Big
Yeah,
three
2 lines
score
from
in
the
that
second
biggest
goal
game of
and,
the
and
year.
1 goal from Casey Middlesap.
Maybe that's why Casey made all tournaments.
Did score
was his
a nice
first
goal.
goal.
Yep.
That was his first goal, not his last. He did score in the third place.
Yep.
It was really weird to hear that. You know, I'm typing and
Yeah.
working on the story, and the PA announcer goes, "Scoring for Eden Prairie, his first goal of the tournament, Casey Middlestat."
But Casey all season was distributing. He was
I know.
distributing all season.
He was. He totally was.
And so, if Casey really wanted to score 50 goals this season, he could.
Yeah.
That wasn't the style of play he wanted to play this season.
No. All right, so we're done with AA and A. Now let's get on to some more fun here. Let's talk about the comings and goings. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of comings and goings every year. I generated a list.
The exiled one on the forum will get the list going probably shortly.
I would hope
Yes,
so. Yeah.
probably. Here's our list of just 20 players. I put a few of them in order, and then I took others out and added a few. So here's the players, and we're going to comment on each one of them. We'll go as fast as we can, but some will have a little more discussion than others. Blake McLaughlin.
Gone.
I think he's gone.
You say he's gone. I say he's in. Gavin Hand.
Gone.
If one goes, the other goes.
Yeah.
If one goes, the other goes. My take is this. From interviewing and talking directly to the sources, they're saying they're staying.
That's before they won.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
I did
before-
not ask them after they won a state championship.
I think, they accomplished what they wanted to accomplish, and they did it in dramatic fashion. Rapids winning first time in Carl and I's lifetime. I mean, it's just, and, they're going to hang a banner at IRA for those kids. I don't, it's underwhelming when you lose in sections next year.
Yeah. This team, I think their road to the state tournament was easier this year than it will be next year. We'll get
Yeah.
into that double A. I think
Yeah.
7 AA next year is going to be
Yeah.
gauntlet.
Yeah.
I mean, a
Yeah,
gauntlet.
that's gonna be good.
So, let's talk. Okay, next let's go to Colin Schmidt. Why is that?
Wayzata players haven't been sticking around. Freitag
it's-
and Zimmer didn't stick around.
As
so.
good as it is, the Wayzata system is not terribly fun when you're a goal scorer.
Yeah, and so if you want to prove yourself, and you kind of have to leave and start scoring
So
goals.
you guys are saying gone.
I'm saying gone. What do you
Lean
think?
that way, but I could be convinced otherwise.
I would not be surprised if he is gone, but I'm going to say stay. So I'm so far 3 stays.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, we're kind of just voicing what
Yeah,
we think.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. We'll give it-
Dev McCabe.
I think Dev stays.
Okay.
I'll buy that. Yeah.
It's so funny. We haven't agreed yet. I think that Dev is going to be gone. Madison owns his rights, which makes it a little trickier because Madison is in dumpster fire mode. I can say negative stuff about USHL teams.
Oh
So,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
We don't.
Because I
care.
think they're kind of dumpster fire mode. I think that might be reason enough to keep him at SPA. So
Well, and I think what happened to him at the end of the season.
Yeah.
I think we'll keep him around and
He's got a
talking
reason
to
to
his
come back.
coach. Yeah, that's kind of what it sounds like,
he
and
might be coming back.
he might be coming. Which I wouldn't have said at the start of the season. I think I have a $5 bet with Carl that with Dev staying or going. So,
All right.
but Dev's a very good player. Either decision is a great decision.
Yep. All right. Luke Lohite, Minnetonka.
I think
Probably
he stays for the reason we'll talk about shortly.
Yep. I say stays as well.
Yeah,
so
agreed.
we all agree on him staying.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
We're going to agree here in mass here pretty soon. Ben Almquist, Holy Family.
Gone,
Probably
Gone. Yeah.
probably gone.
I'm going to say stay.
I think
You
you
think
talk
Eddie was
about
leaving?
fire sale. There's going to be a fire sale at Holy Families.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. But I
You think they're all leaving?
I think the chips were in on this season.
I think
and
there's only one player in that group of returning seniors that will leave, and I think that's Peter Tabor. That's just a
okay,
It's
inside hunch. He played really well for Waterloo this fall.
yeah.
he's a great
Already
player.
on the move.
Yeah,
And he's been a mover.
Yep.
He's
Yeah.
moved once.
He's
he'll
a
move
mover
again,
and a
where A lot
shaker.
of these guys, Maroney and Zemer, they played as 8th graders for them. So these are kids that are.
yeah. Maroney's
they're
brother
loyal.
stayed all the way through.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Zach Stayskull, we can all agree he's gone. He's already signed
Yeah.
a tender with Bloomington. He'll be in Bloomington this week.
Okay.
Playing.
Yeah.
I just want to state championship. He's like starting on Monday night, or starting next
Yeah.
weekend or whatever for the Thunder.
Congratulations, Zach. That's
Good accomplishment
Yep.
for him. He's on a fast track for a Division I scholarship.
Well, he's
As he should be.
6'4" now.
Yeah.
He's won a championship. He's clutch. He's everything. Yeah.
He's clutch. All right, and you remember now, it's just a little trivia here. He was not on the roster, on their playoff roster
Or
for the
last.
state tournament last year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He did not play in the state tournament. Gabe
Yeah.
played, everyone. And certain player who was suspended for the state tournament ended up getting that certain player's third place medal.
That's where it came from. Okay.
Got it?
Yep.
Oh, what?
So he was a third goalie. There was a senior goalie on Rapids.
Yeah.
I can't remember who that was.
Partlow. This year's or
No,
last
last
year's?
year.
Last
Last
year.
year's. I don't remember last
It
year's.
was number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know who it is.
It's fine. So he came on the roster. He was in
Mm-hmm.
the playoff roster for the state tournament, and he got a medal.
Oh, okay.
All right. I just remember noticing that. Jared Moe.
I think he's gone. Goaltenders, good goaltenders like Zach, who rarely stay for their senior
Jared.
year. What?
I said Jared Moe, not Zach.
Well, he was
No, I'm
saying,
saying good goaltenders.
Oh, like
like
Zach.
Like Zach.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like good goaltenders do not tend to stay for their senior year. So
He'd be a candidate for the NAHL, I would say.
yeah,
Yep.
I think so too.
Absolutely.
And he's on the midterm scouting list. Yeah, he's good.
Here's a juicy one. Number 17 on 89, Ben Brinkman.
Maybe not this year, but next year.
So you say stay? What do you say?
I'm saying he's gone.
Where's he going to go?
And NTDP probably.
So you
They'll
think
find a
he's going to
spot.
get?
They'll find a spot for him.
So, they'll find a spot for him. And say, well, if the spot does open up, I would guess that he would get offered the spot. He's turned them down in the past. I think he could turn them down again. I think he stays. Jack Perbix.
It depends what's coming back for Elk. I think that's a all or nothing type of thing. If Elk wants to, if you start to see a couple players leave, then I think Jack would be gone.
Well, the senior class, the Connor Rizal class, the one that's coming back, is a really solid group.
Yeah.
Really good players. I still think Elk River is one of those teams. Don't sleep on them, especially if Perbix comes back. Perbix is a candidate for Green Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a little soon for him to go there.
Well, I wonder where his brother's. Where's his brother
his
signed
brother's
to?
not drafted. He'll be drafted in May.
Okay, so
He had no one's. He's not protected by anybody.
I think if he could probably play on the same team as his brother again.
So if Green Bay were to draft him,
I
yeah,
could see that happening.
I could see that happening.
Especially after
And I
the way
could
Nick
see that
played this
going
year.
down. For
yeah,
sure.
I could see that happening.
If Nick Perbix is drafted by the Gamblers,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would.
You know what?
I'd switch my answer
is
to
yeah,
John.
yeah. That's
Yep.
agreed.
I agree with that. Mike Kester, Chaska High School.
I think one more year he'll stay.
Yeah.
I don't think that he's a candidate for the national level program. He's an 0-1. I don't
Okay.
think he's a
Okay.
candidate for that. Speaking of candidates for national development program, Jake Hale is the next guy on our list. Again, what I'm hearing, he's not going to be at NTTP. Does that mean a kid like him is going to play in the USHL as a junior in high school? That's a stretch.
Yeah.
It's just complicated because he's on Minneapolis. I mean, talk about a team that needs to opt up.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, I
Or
don't think
gonna
they
get
have
lapped.
enough to opt up. Yeah, they do have
but
enough, though.
that's where it gets complicated. He's got a fun head coach. Things
Right.
look like he probably will stay, but it's also
Good things are happening in Minneapolis hockey.
yeah.
So imagine that. Imagine the day when Minneapolis hockey gets good enough, because they have plenty of hockey players. It's one
Yeah.
of the largest youth associations. in the
Yeah.
state. Imagine when they can close off the borders to the private schools.
yeah.
They
Yeah.
have some wins.
Yeah.
I have a foreshadowing what it looks like.
Yeah.
It looks like what happened to Mammal on social media, what's
Yep.
happening to Hermantown on social media.
Yeah.
They have to move up. You
Okay,
know?
well, Hermantown should move up based on skill, not enrollment. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
Agree
no
with
one
that.
would
agree with that.
do
And,
the
and
enrollments.
Mammal was right where they needed to be.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
right where
awesome.
they need to
Yeah.
be. Mammal would have been in 5AA with
slaughtered.
Maple Grove and Centennial.
That moose would have been killed.
I think so. That
Poor
moose would
moose.
have been hit on the freeway.
Yeah.
All right.
Jesus.
All right,
I'm 94. Jesus,
yeah,
that
94.
It's a
moose.
moose carcass lying on the side of the road.
That's the noise it would have made. Bryce Brodzinski, Blaine.
Stay.
Those boys don't
Brodzinski-
leave. They play their 4 years of high school.
and then they go to St. Cloud.
They go play juniors. Then they go to St.
They like Fogarty too much. They like
great
former
facility.
Games. Let's call it that.
Here's an easy one. Ethan Frisch.
Stays.
Stay.
All of Rapids is or
Oh,
Moorhead.
okay.
Moorhead is staying.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like Eden Prairie. We'll
Yep.
get to Jack Jensen soon, and I think those guys all stay
Stay.
too. It's
Yep.
just this
Yeah.
weird mystery. Like no one leaves Eden Prairie.
There.
Well, and part of that is Lee Smith.
Give him credit.
Yes,
He's
absolutely,
a player's coach. And he keeps him home.
Yeah.
absolutely.
And Gertie's.
Before we get to Jack Jensen, Ben Helgeson. This one, he lived in Roseau,
Yep.
Yeah, he's-
right? And he moved to Hill Murray
That's
for
a
a
flag.
better
That's a
playing
flag.
hockey situation.
And
that
Hill-
tends to tell me he would leave Hill Murray for a better hockey playing situation, which
Especially
could be in
since
the
the
U.S.
cover is fairly barren hill too.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's coming. I mean, they have a really good group of youngsters coming in.
Yeah.
So I think that it's going to be a couple of years, but I don't think Ben will be there when that.
And no diss on Coach Lechner.
No.
I just
No.
think, yeah.
No, they're in a rebuilding phase over at Hill Murray, but it's not dead by any
No.
stretch.
No.
Jack Jensen, I think we're going to get because he played in the Elite League last year. He doesn't need to play in the Elite League again. I think Jack Jensen is a candidate to go to, I think he's Tri-City or Lincoln. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think he's Tri-City drafted. I think he'll do before and after, try to pull for a before and after situation.
Yeah.
That's my guess. How about
I
you
can
guys?
see that. I think he's staying.
I
At least
think
for 1
he's
year.
staying, but the before and after wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
But who wants to live in Kearney? I was there
I
a couple
know.
of weeks ago. Oh my God,
That's
it
why I
is
said
painful.
before and after.
It is.
you know.
The best
and
part
after.
was
can only
they have
handle so
one
much.
one cab driver. That's it,
Oh,
and
no.
one Uber.
I was going to say,
They had 2 Ubers, and the one got their license taken away because he didn't have one.
I want to know. I don't want to know why you were in Kearney, Nebraska.
Recruiting for work.
Oh, okay, got it. All right.
Because I went to UNL, so
Yes.
they said, "Why don't you go to UNK?"
UNLK?
Yeah. Well, you can't spell drunk without UNK.
Oh, jeez. Here we go. All right, moving on. Let's see who's next on my list here. Oh, Peter Tabor. I already
Gone.
talked about him.
Gone.
I think he's
Gone.
of any of the Foley family guys. He's the only one I think is a true candidate to return or to go
Yeah.
to the USHL or play juniors. Tyler Watkins,
Stays.
stay. His stock rose considerably
Oh,
the
I-
last 3 months of the season.
He was
Agreed?
great.
Oh yeah,
he really
was
came on.
just so much fun to watch in season.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
good. Garrett Worth, sticking with the Duluth area.
Don't see anyone leaving East. Yep.
No one leaving East.
He needs a ticket from Carl apparently. he direct messaged Carl for a ticket.
Oh, he needed a ticket? Yeah.
It was joking, but
Good
yeah,
for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for him. And then this is another junior who I just thought exploded this year. Carter Rancliffe. He was
He's-
good as a sophomore, but he was outstanding, and his shooting. That kid shoots the
Oh,
ball.
he snipes.
Fun to watch.
Unbelievable.
He
Sniping sparks.
snipes.
So I interviewed him last Monday. I think he's about the size of this paper cup.
Yeah, I know.
Tiny.
I know, but he's good. He's really
Oh,
good.
my goodness.
That
He
line
is
next year
something.
is going to be unreal.
Yeah,
Now
it
that-
could be the best line
This
in the
Moorhead
state.
team kind of reminds me of Duluth East after they lost the championship game in
Yeah.
2011 when they had the all junior top line.
Yeah.
It's all coming back now.
Yeah,
It does.
with good defense,
Yep.
with
Yep.
the good goalie
Veteran
coming
goalie,
back.
Yeah. They got it. They got it.
Okay.
All right.
Well, those
now
are
we'll switch our
players.
coming, and we're done with players. Now switching comings and goings on the coaching front. So this will be some good gossip. Brian Urick has officially resigned.
He's
at
gone.
Minnetonka. He gone.
Bye, Brian.
He's gone. Speculation swirling on who his replacement could be.
This is where it gets complicated.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, because Murph, the
You need to be more specific who Murph is.
why don't you take that youth hockey hub guy?
Brian Murphy, the coach of the Bantam team, who coached them to 2 state championships 2 years ago, last year, and failed to make it to state this year, is a definite hot commodity. He's a young coach. He's done really well. He's coached in.
He's the
in
Kirby
juniors.
Smart of high school hockey.
Yes,
right
that's
now.
a very good analogy. He's the hot commodity. He's a Cretan grad. Played college hockey at St. Mary's. I think he's also a candidate for Cretan Durham Hall for the man with 9 lives, Jim O'Neill.
Yeah.
So we'll get to Jim O'Neill in just a second. So that would be the original choice. So you're saying that Murph
I think what we've heard is Murph is going to Cretan.
and made
Yeah.
a commitment to them.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now he can't back out of his commitment. Well,
And now
We'll see
he's
what happens.
Now he's like Paul Christ.
Yes,
He
yes.
went down to Pittsburgh, and now Wisconsin needs a coach.
yeah. I think that no offense to Cretan, I think the Tonka is a better job. Today, it's a
Oh,
better job.
Yeah.
But I think that
What that
Murph
program
could
has
make the
coming through.
Cretan job one of the best jobs out
Oh,
there.
Yep.
well, yeah. Just if Murph goes to Cretan, the Cretan St. Thomas rivalry, like just explodes. Then the recruiting
Recruiting
on
would
Highland
explode.
because I believe who's ever recruiting Highland is the better school between the two for hockey purposes.
Yes.
And really, that's where St. Thomas is going to have to go full on blitz. If
Well,
Murph
the
goes
other
over.
thing about St. Thomas has always done really well in Lakeville, and,
Yes,
and in Highland,
yes,
and a
yes.
little bit in Mendota Heights.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I got
Sibley.
news for you. The Highland program, and they're going to probably kill me for saying this, isn't very strong right now at the Pee Wees and Bantam.
No.
So it's not like it's a fertile recruiting ground.
Yeah.
The 2 Lakeville coaches, Eigner and AJ, have pretty much closed the borders off there.
Oh,
So it's
yeah.
tougher and tougher to recruit for those 3 East Side programs. And I'm telling you right now, Hill Murray is running the gauntlet on 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th grade kids right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
So those are the 2 programs that I think they're in the biggest trouble is
Yeah.
Cretan and St. Thomas for
Think-
future recruiting.
Well, the nice part about St. Thomas is St. Thomas has started to look at more Edina kids. I know,
Yes,
I went to
absolutely.
Our Lady of Grace, and my brother did too. And like he had a lot of classmates that went to St. Thomas that
Yes.
played hockey. And our OLG's a big hockey type of school too.
Yep.
I mean, I still remember wearing Jefferson jackets and being made fun of when
Oh,
I
yeah.
went there. So
Well, I think they were making fun of you for other reasons.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your baby blue sweatshirt.
but yeah, it's worth noting that that's going to be heating up
Yeah,
soon.
absolutely. Okay, so Brian Urick, check that one off. Bruce Plant, is he going to retire or not?
I just don't think he will. He has too much fun. You know that.
I'm going to vote that he retires.
I think it's time. Yep.
I was there 2 weeks ago interviewing Ryan Sandlin for Player of the Year and had a chance to talk to Bruce for 10 or 15 minutes. And he has 3 grandsons. Victor's in 3rd or 2nd grade, and the others are in 5th and 6th grade. So I'm stating this because if he doesn't retire now, every year he doesn't retire, the closer Max and Zam get to being eligible,
cool.
and how he's
Yeah.
going to say no to coaching to them.
Yeah.
is something. So I think if he's going to retire,
Yeah.
now is the time from retire.
Go out on top.
He gave
Yeah.
just by his look on his eyes. I was like, "How are you going to do it?" And he's like, "I haven't made up my mind yet." I could just tell by his body language that I think now is the time.
Yeah.
And he was
agree.
asked that a couple times in the press conferences, and he didn't answer. He says, "Oh, we'll evaluate it when we get done." But I think he's going to do that. He wasn't going to make his announcement.
Yeah, he's not going to.
Yeah.
in a creepy.
He's not the
face
sort of guy
with
who's
the
going
Xcel Energy Center.
and he's not going to steal the stage from his players because that's not who Bruce is.
no.
All right, here's a fun one. Trent Klatt. We've had some fun with this one as well. He's won a state championship. He's proven everything he can. Two of the best players in the school's history, which is saying something,
Well, one of the best
Could
goaltenders.
leave.
Yeah.
could leave. And he's going to be left with not much there. The cupboard's a little bare for a few years. They got some good players again in that 6th, 7th, and 8th range. But
But-
9th and 10th, the cupboard's bare right now.
Here's the thing about him is he's got a full-time job, of scouting. So and he's devoted to his family. So it's how much time does he want to spend at this? Because it takes a lot of time. And so I think that's where his decision kind of came from last year is if I'm going to put all this time into it, I want everybody to be bought in with me. So it's whether or not he wants to do that.
And he forced their hand there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. The other thing, I saw this on Twitter today. Trent is the first Mr. Hockey Award winner
To win.
to ever win as a coach.
Sure.
Twitter trivia next year.
That's
Yeah.
a good one. That's a good one. All right, we talked a little bit about St. Thomas Academy. You're hearing something about the Vanellis. What's your
Well,
take?
I just what I have heard the whole season is just who do you think is going to replace Tom and Greg? Who do you think is going to replace Tom? Who do you think is going to replace Tom? And it's more than normal, okay? Because a couple of years ago there was buzz about Tom taking the Gopher job if Lucia got fired, and so there's now more buzz than normal of who do you think is going to take the job when they quit? Who do you think is going to take the job when they quit?
Yeah, that's been the whispers the last year or two.
It just
there's
seems
lots
weird.
of good candidates. I think Matt Funk,
Funk-
would be a
Funk
great
would-
candidate.
Be the obvious
for the job.
one to slide over.
And,
Yeah.
Murph would be there. He's been there a lot. So
We're not hiring a Cretan grad.
I love it.
They have standards.
We
there.
did that as
I'm
a
glad
headmaster,
you're-
and it was a mistake.
I now
okay?
know that I didn't know you were on the hiring committee for the hockey team.
No, but we did that as a headmaster, and that was a mistake, and we're not doing it again. Okay.
Okay.
You hire a Michigan
Fancy
man.
little terms like
Yep.
headmaster, like that's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Headmaster.
You have to
Private
be a
schools.
St. Thomas guy. You got to be a Michigan man. Sort of thing.
I got you. All right, so we don't know anything for sure at the
No.
Vanellis are leaving. They've signed a contract to play in our tournament this Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It was the Vanellis that approved it, so it wasn't like they were
No, and
on
I
the way
think
out the door.
I think they'll stay for a little bit longer. You might see one of them leave, but both gone. I would hesitate.
I'd be
to say.
surprised.
Yeah.
Okay, we alluded to Jimmy O'Neill. You have some concrete evidence that Jim O'Neill's going to
Well,
retire.
I'm pretty positive all the scuttle that we've heard that that job is open and it's kind of been filled.
We'll see. Well, we'll see if that
Kind of
happens.
been filled.
It's
With-
kind of been
with an
filled. We'll
asterisk.
see with a little asterisk.
Well, Minnetonka's making their play right now.
I think there's a really strong. We could make a 99% chance that Brian Murphy will have a job in high school hockey.
Where does he want
and
it?
the best part about Murph is like he's not a recruiter type. He's not one of these guys that bangs the beats the bushes and
Yeah.
recruits guys. He just seemed one of these guys that people just show up at his doorstep kind of guy. He's just like Midas, you know.
Well, that's cool.
Everything he touches is gold. So I think no matter where Murph ends up, it's
Yeah.
going to be good.
Yeah.
So we took Jim O'Neill. Last one. This is an interesting one. This is the Les Larson Breck situation.
This is where it gets interesting because the rumor mill has it that Blake's moving up for girls, and so they're moving
And
up,
boys.
but it's mainly for girls. Is what
I think they're bringing enough good boys that the boy they want.
Yeah.
They like if we're going to
girls'
be,
quality is up in 2A quality.
Oh,
Yeah, they're
the
yeah.
best
team
team
in
in the
state, right?
Yeah, yeah. And so
I think we had another one of those cases in the girls hockey.
Yeah.
yeah.
The
yeah.
Class AA champion lost to the A champion.
Forget what the score was, but it was like
It
3-1
was
or
close.
1-0.
It was close.
Yeah,
It was
at
close.
Braemar this season.
Yeah,
but
so-
the fact of the matter is now Breck has to step up their game, and Les has been there for a while, and Breck doesn't look like they're going to be a hockey powerhouse.
Now, weren't you the one that was telling me that they're no longer?
Yeah, but that's kind of still on the hum. Let's
You
say
know,
that.
you know that's on the
Yeah,
down
I don't
low
want.
still?
I don't want to.
You're not breaking that one.
Yeah.
I've heard. Okay, I've heard from several sources, not just you, that
Yeah.
Breck may not be looking to recruit hockey players.
Yeah, let's just leave it at that. From
So what they're-
higher up people,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
that ends that segment.
Your complete overview of private sector recruiting in the Twin Cities.
yeah,
Yeah, we have.
yeah.
We really have. If you want to learn about private school recruiting,
Well, that's
come to
off
our
season
podcast.
for you.
Yeah.
That's the off season.
Really, it really is. All right, now probably the section of the show that everybody's been looking forward to is our consensus top 10 for next year.
Way too early.
Way too early top 10 and way too we know nothing about players coming and going, as you could hear from our previous discussion. But we're assuming everybody's coming back.
Yeah, you have to do rankings
Okay.
like that.
For the exception of Zach Stayskal, and I would almost firmly put Peter Tabor as firm in that one too. If Peter Tabor's coming back, I think Holy Family's in that top 3.
Oh,
category.
yeah, he's
I have them in the
really
second
good.
tier down from there. Okay, number 1, Grand Rapids.
Sure. I mean, they won the state championship.
Yeah, you
they've got
can't.
great players.
You can't argue that they're returning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I like that. Although I will say this, I call it the championship effect. Once they've,
Sure.
eaten the cake, it's
hard to be hungry for dessert again.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky. And that team, when they were bantams, when they won, like Blake and Gavin won as 8th graders, they got back to state but lost in the
Okay.
quarters
And-
to Centennial.
Oh.
It was a great game. It was one of those. Why are these two teams playing each other
Yeah.
in the first
Yeah,
round?
yeah,
What they're really going to miss, though, is Don Bahar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So much ice
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Number 2, Moorhead. Again, probably the most talent returning. Great
Yeah.
balance.
Mm-hmm. They're good.
I can't argue against that one.
8AA looks probably pretty free for them to run right through next year, too.
Brainerd will be tough.
Yeah.
Brainerd will be
But
tough.
But
That's a really good
Rozo's
senior class.
non-existent. STMA graduates.
Midgey's losing a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, this team is just prime. They have the best defenseman in the state. They have probably
One of the best defensemen.
Ben Brinkman may disagree, but
Hey, that's if Ben goes.
Yeah.
But they're good.
All right. So then number 3, we have Edina.
yep.
Ben Brinkman may
This is
disagree.
assuming
No, I'm
everyone's-
kidding.
I
Yeah.
saw enough out of Edina in this
Yeah.
season
Yeah.
to see that it wasn't just Bram and Sammy.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting Sammy's not a senior.
Yeah.
Sammy comes back.
Yeah.
Another player should have been on that list. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's he should have been on the list. He should
Oh
have probably
yeah.
been number
we left him
one.
up again.
Yeah.
We pulled this list from multiple different sources. Yeah, Sammy. Is
Well,
he
because
coming back
when
or
you were
not?
looking at the Bantam stuff,
Yeah,
he didn't
wasn't-
play.
He wasn't in our band. We
Yeah.
pulled a lot of these names off
Yeah.
of there. Yeah, he's. I've heard all indication he's leaving.
Well,
That's what I
yeah. I mean, his brothers left immediately
earlier.
Yep.
for
I
the
think
dub.
that,
Played for
and
3
I-
years,
I think
yeah.
the coaching staff at the university wants him to move on, and we'll just see if that happens.
Yeah.
But still, I think even without Sammy,
Boltman,
yeah, they're all going to
they're
be there.
good.
That defensive core is great.
Yeah.
Boltman could be a candidate for the National Development Program. He's a legit
Yeah.
01 candidate that'll
Yeah.
be in the National Development Program. Okay, so now we move down to number 4. So we agree on Rapids, Moorhead, Edina.
Yeah.
Number 4, this is Minnetonka. They've gotten more talk
Oh,
on this
yeah.
show than probably anybody.
Well,
I think
on
this is
any
the
show
team.
that we've ever done, too.
I think this is the team. I mean, they're really poised to make a deep run next
Depends
year.
who their head coach
Yep.
is.
Still
If-
that question mark. But
Yeah, if Murph is their head coach, I really like this team.
I like this team no matter. You could be coaching this team, and they're going to make.
Ouch.
What does that say? I mean, last
Yeah, he's an experienced
I've
coach.
coached a couple of D1 players.
Yeah.
Peter Mark,
How many?
Jack Doherty,
Peter Mark.
Jack Doherty. We may have been kicked out of summer showcase hockey because of a mooning incident, but we do. I was the coach.
All right. Well, congratulations. Okay, number 5. St. Thomas Academy. Number 6. Duluth East. The only way these two teams can make it on here is because you guys went to school there.
Obviously. Only reason.
Obviously.
No, but that cadet core is going to be really good. I think the size
team.
might be an issue, but McFadden's probably going to grow some more, and
That's a
Holmes
good
is a good size. Like they are just top to
And
bottom.
they don't
really.
have any guys in their team who strike me as fleeing to the
No,
USHL or national level
no,
program.
no.
So-
I don't see that.
I think one of the keys. To
I'll have a
this-
pulse on that.
The key to good high school hockey is retaining players.
Well, and I think the key to being good in the tournament, as we see with Rapids, is you got to go once, and then once you get
taste.
settled in, and now you can be good. I think that's what hurt St. Thomas Academy is the year gap. Is because they all the tournament traditions, like you got to go from the hotel to the rink, all that type of stuff, kind of just
Banquet.
like
Yep.
it's new for them. But when you've done it before, you're just like, okay, well, let's play hockey.
Let's get done.
Yeah,
Yep.
Okay, number 7 we have Holy Family.
yeah.
I like that spot. I think this team could be really good,
I think they can be good or they can be average.
depending on
Who comes back?
retainment.
Yeah.
if that's a word.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting one, we all consensus
Agree on
that this is a top 10 team. Cloquet Lumberjacks.
So let the record show that Tony was the one who proposed this, not me being the 7AA shill that I'm accused of being sometimes.
I proposed it too, though. I think they're going to be good. Watching Landon Brunner play this year, he's the real deal. He was just a year away from really
They have
stepping up.
one of the strongest 10th grades in the state.
Yeah.
A strong 11th grade is deep. They have a bunch of kids that are 9th graders who now are going to play in the state Bantam AA.
And they have a chip on their back
Probably-
that they want to be good.
Yeah,
and they could win. I mean,
Yeah.
people will shudder. I said they could win the Bantam AA state championship this weekend. So just think about that. They finished 3rd last year, and they could have a winner. I mean, that to me, that's a good formula.
Yeah.
For
Worked
high
for
school- high
Rapids.
school. Yeah, it's a great.
Not only that, let's remember that they pounded Rapids late in the season, and it wasn't a fluke game.
No.
They
Yeah,
you
actually
were
got
there.
good.
Yeah.
And gave East all they could handle. The
Yeah,
semis,
so
Yeah.
don't be surprised when you hear CEC being tweeted on our site a lot next year. I would not
Yeah.
be surprised by that.
making a few trips to the Lumberdome next year.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And then number 9, my favorite team apparently, Centennial. Again, I think this is a good group.
They're
Lot
a
of-
top 10 team, right, John? They're a top 10 team.
They could have been a top 10 team if they beat Maple Grove 2 years in a row. All right. So we got Centennial 9, and then lots to choose from for 10. I still think that White Bear Lake is the best team next
With
year on
Genrich.
paper. Coming back in
They-
4AA
they'll
because
miss-
Stillwater will be weak.
Yeah. They'll
No,
miss
Murray's gonna be
Perodno,
weak.
though. They'll miss their goaltending.
Yeah, I
though.
think they're going to be good. They have the best Bantam team in the state right now, so they have a good group of 9th graders.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm not saying you win with 10th graders.
Yeah.
But if it provides lots of depth for your program,
Yeah.
I think they have a really good core at 9th grade, so they'll have some good 10th graders. They'll have a good group of 12th graders. I think that's the
Yeah.
deepest team in 4AA.
It's
Yeah.
a very winnable section.
And that's why I have them in the 10. Kind of like last year when we were doing
Yeah.
our picks for Centennial. I'm like, they had a good
Yeah.
group coming back.
Yeah.
It didn't work out for me, but oh well. But they did christen our top 10 quite a bit this
Yeah,
year. So.
and they had
deservedly so.
flashes. Yeah.
And they were the number 1 seed in 5AA. So it
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
like we were
Okay.
way
Stop.
off.
Get off your Centennial train.
Moving on.
All right. Here's the others that I think need to have some consideration for next year, based on their program, based on their section. These kind of teams who could make a run. Eden Prairie will be good,
Yeah, they just lose Jesus.
but they have a great 9th grade group, which will bolster their team
Yeah.
with their 10th grade class.
And Jensen's a good player.
Jensen's good. They have some decent seniors. They
Yeah.
have Andrew Dietrich will be their goalie. This
Yeah.
will be a decent team.
Yeah. Good
I'm not sure
coach.
top 10. Good coach. Eastviews. This is another really good group of kids. Their juniors were a big reason why they were a good team and had beaten Lakeville North and had some good wins this year. I
There
think
needs
that's
to
a
be
team-
competition 3AA. Let's
Yep.
be honest.
I think they're
Please,
a team that will
please,
be in there.
Eastview.
Yeah.
We have to mention Lakeville's because one of them is going to be going to state next year, so
Yeah.
they have
What-
to be in our conversation.
Mayo won't?
Mayo will not go. I promise you. I can promise you one thing.
Guarantees
Mayo.
made in March.
Yes, I'm making one right now. Mayo will not be in it. If Mayo makes it past the quarters, I'd be shocked next year.
Yeah.
Okay, if Mayo makes it past the quarters, we will somehow attend again.
I will hold the cue cards next year in a minute after.
If Mayo wins 15 games, I will go to your 16th win. Okay, I will make a guarantee for you, Rochester Mayo.
All right, here we go. Blaine is also on there. Wyzetta, again, lots of unknowns. Who's coming back?
Yeah.
Who's playing there? But we can't count them out.
No.
No, even
Just
if they
proved
don't,
us.
even if they don't have a lot of talent, just their systems just doesn't. They'll play defensive hockey.
Just plug them in. They'll go do their
And
thing.
Yeah.
they get to play their championship game at Mariucci.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
It's a huge advantage.
yeah. It worked for him this
advantage.
year.
I got Jefferson as well. Again, a little bit of a personal shield there, but I think that's a team that could make some noise. They have a lot of juniors returning, like 15 or 16 juniors
Yeah.
returning. Anytime you have a lot of seniors,
Yeah.
it's good.
It's
and they've had
scary.
some
It's
success
scary. Yeah.
through the youth. I think that's a team that could make some noise in
Yeah.
3AA.
Yeah.
And then they have a returning goaltender.
Yeah, I
returning
mean-
D. They got a
Yeah.
lot of good returning parts. So that's the team that
Yeah.
we want to consider. Teams not in our discussion, I want to just throw out here.
Yeah.
Hill Murray.
No.
Not much returning. Stillwater loses a
lot.
So many seniors.
Yeah.
a lot. Benilde's still not going to be there
Yeah.
based on what's
Better,
coming up.
but,
Better, but better. Prior Lake not going to get any lot of love because they lose a lot of seniors as well.
Yep.
Elk River is a question mark.
Yeah.
I think they
But
can still
whenever
be
you-
pretty good.
It's
Yeah.
almost like when you pump up Elk River, they fail.
Oh.
When you ignore Elk River, they surprise you. So
Yeah.
this is one of
But
those
then
teams
still
that could
losing
surprise you.
the section semis.
Jesus.
Did you just
East
whisper
grad.
under your breath that always loses the section semis?
Yes.
I just want to make sure that everyone caught that
Yeah.
up in the 763. Speaking of 763, another one that I think loses a lot is Maple Grove. They'll be
The-
young but very talented.
They were just so senior heavy.
Yep. I think that'll be a good team by the end of the year, but preseason top 10.
Yeah, the
nowhere
turkey
near
trot game between them and YZ is going to be a weird game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows? And not to pimp our own event, I think we're going to have 4 better teams in our event than the turkey trot next year.
Yeah, I mean, if you're traditionally going to the turkey trot, split split it. Go to one day, one night, go to
Yeah,
the
you
other.
can go to ours as well. It's going to be
Yeah.
good. We have obviously Lakeville North,
St.
St. Thomas
Thomas.
Academy, Moorhead, and Minnetonka.
Jeez, that's going to be
Good.
good.
It's going to be really good
Yeah.
hockey. Really good hockey.
3
We
top 5
started
teams
off-
according to us now.
What is it now? Yeah.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3 of the top 5.
Yep.
That word kind of just spitball.
Yeah, 3 of the top 5. But I think that's consensus. I don't think anybody really would be foolish enough to make a top 10.
Yeah.
We're just throwing out 10 based on who might be
Who we
returning next
see,
year.
yeah.
So I think that's it. Any final thoughts as we sign off for the year?
I'll just say thanks to everyone who tunes into us, who comes and finds us at rinks, talks to us.
I
It's
agree.
been,
It's
it's been a
fun.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
I feel like we got out and met a lot of people this year. It was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, that's always
Yeah.
a good
We
time.
definitely have expanded our reach beyond the forum. I mean, the forum
Yeah.
was
Yep.
kind of our starting point 2
Everything
years
starts
ago,
with the forum.
and now
Yeah.
we're beyond the forum a little
Yeah.
bit more, and people
Yeah.
are seeing us. But the forum everything always starts at the forum.
Yeah.
But it was a great season. Special thanks to our sponsor, Mayo Clinic Sports Medicine, for making this happen.
Yeah.
And Danny for putting this whole thing together. We really appreciate your hard work
Yeah,
this year as well.
But it was fun. I mean, for the 50% of what you guys actually listen to me, you two in this room. So thank you for that.
Yep,
I mean, I
problem.
appreciate it.
It's better than what you get at work.
It is. It is. Customers just don't understand when their material's late. I don't get it.
That's right. That's right.
Strange.
All right. For Carl and Danny, I'm Tony Scott. Thanks for tuning in to today's show, and we'll see you next year.
Last night my kid tore up his league. He had a hat trick right up his sleeve. Coach said he's never seen that. Gemini Athletics gonna have to stitch the C patch. I've got Ferraris, Maseratis, drive all over the place. I drink martinis, never seen these looks all over their face.